Alrighty, everyone, we did it. Episode 50 is about to be in the bag, but not yet, because we have one more part left of DSP versus the internet. I'm excited to see the final clips you guys nominated for this week. Let's jump in and see some more.
When it comes to the world of music, there's one name that's loosely associated with the term famous rapper, that being Soulja Boy. If your teacher or professor were to ask the class who
Just for pure transparency here, I never listened to Soulja Boy. I don't even know what his music sounds like. At the time that he was popular, I wasn't listening actively to any music, so I've never heard him on the radio, nothing. But
has heard of the name Soulja Boy, the entire class would just exit out the room and drop out on the spot.
Wow.
However, in the world of gaming, Soulja Boy is a name as old as time, up there with the greats such as Billy Mitchell, not only because he's a walking meme.
Everything that come out my motherfucking mouth is hard. What the fuck is you talking about, Kanye West?
But also because of his incredible and revolutionary console, the Soulja game console. He uses two different words for the end there. And since he's kind of shied away from the limelight in recent years, let me take you all back to the time he tried to snatch the wallets of us precious and naive gamers. Mr. Boy had a couple of hits back in the early 2000s, but ever since then his career has taken a sort of rapid decline, if you will. Of course though, he needed to keep racking in the money if he was going to continue living that influencer lifestyle. And so he began.
What's funny is he's still into it, right? Doesn't he still appear on streams with other streamers and stuff like that? Like, they act like he's still a celebrity, but what is he a celebrity of, right? He doesn't make music anymore. I don't even get it, but okay.
His greatest scheme yet. On December 5th, 2018, Mr. Boy decided to stop cranking that Soulja Boy for a moment as he dipped his toes into the entrepreneurial world and announced his new entry into the game console market, the Soulja Game Console and Soulja Game Handheld.
Oh my god.
Unfortunately missing the chance to name it the Soulja Boy, but I digress. Now, normally when it comes to development, consoles usually come out a couple of months after an announcement, or well, years in some case, but Soulja Boy was no ordinary entrepreneur. Right after announcing the console, he got straight to cranking his engineers and released them on the exact same day as the announcement. Amazing. We can take a look at his website here, and we get to see just how much of an entrepreneur Mr. Boy truly was. We have other high quality products such as the Soulja headphones with amazing features like sliding in an SD card to turn it into an MP3 player. We have the Soulja pad. What the fuck is this? A tablet PC that runs at the power of a Nokia cell phone? Apparently I can get it sent to me by the Russian government. So we have the Soulja Phone HT70 with unheard of features such as a touchscreen. I would fucking hope my smartphone comes with the ability to use it, and even 6 to 12 hours of talk time, which after 12 hours I assume the phone would just automatically detonate. We even have the Soulja Pods and Soulja Watch in varying different
colors. It's just
colors,
a knockoff, right? It's really generic knockoffs, probably Chinese, right? And they're just not good quality things. They're meant to be knockoff products, but because they got his name on it, they were selling it for probably way more than what they would normally sell it for, right? Let's see here. Let's fast forward a bit.
For like less than half the price, though not anymore since these technically are illegal, as the games are just filled with a bunch of pirated ROMs. So if Nintendo found out you own one, they're definitely sending down a missile to your house. But as we all know, Soulja Boy was about that life, as the youngsters would put it. He wasn't going to take the criticism sitting down. Instead,
where's his money coming from? If he really was like a one-hit wonder, let's say he made, you know, $2 million or whatever on the song. Where is all this money that he has in these that he's doing now? If he doesn't, I mean, the money, he blew it. It's not like he saved his money. He blew it. So if he's not selling anything now, what the hell is he making all this money? Where's his money coming from? I'm so confused. I'm very lost. What else does he do?
Was going to fight back against the haters. He put out a couple of tweets calling his haters boo-boo ass nerds. I'm obviously not saying that word. And even, I'm not scared of Nintendo or none of you boo-boo nerds making YouTube videos. He must be talking about me. Eat a salami and thanks for the free promo.
Eat a salami.
My boy. Anything for visionaries such as yourself.
I like that censorship. Eat a salami.
Nintendo was gonna do something, they would have the first day. My console not going anywhere. Everything I'm doing is 100% legit. Stay mad and I'll keep getting richer. He was was definitely steaming. He forgot all the punctuation, which unfortunately didn't actually age well, as he underestimated the power of Nintendo's legal team. They ended up filing a pending suit against the man, to which he quickly responded by taking down all his consoles and tweeting, "Had to boss up, had no choice," shrug emoji. Clearly not keeping that same energy, as the youngsters would say. Why am I even talking like an old man? But what's funny is that he only took them down for like a couple of weeks, because we can see that halfway through January he relisted his consoles. Of course they look, well, pretty different this time. This one here even offers the ability to use it as a webcam. Wow, for a price of just $100 off from $200. What a steal. Either way, I found the same consoles on AliExpress, and what did you know it, $27. And it's the same for the other console, obviously. But can we just take a look at this store though? Like, what kind of shit?
That's the thing. All he did is he slapped his name on existing knockoff products and sold them for exorbitant amounts of money, and dummies bought them. So, all right, you know what? Maybe we should reset the playlist at this point. That way people who are earlier on in the playlist have a chance to be watched. So hold on, because we watched quite a few videos from like the middle to end of the playlist here. So let's let me just refresh the playlist for you guys. Hold on. What's this? Okay, here we go.
Okay, so help me.
I reshuffled the playlist, and let's see what's next. I'll see you tonight, Kagome. All right. How Pokemon talking to their lawyers might right now about Palworld. Okay, so this is about the new game Palworld we've been playing recently.
How do I not have a case? That's literally a black Lucario.
That's not a black Lucario. That's Anubis.
Anubis?
In Palworld, they call him Anubis. Yes.
What? They stand in the exact same though.
What? They can't stand the. Come on, his legs is closer. They can
What?
stand the same
A little closer? Are you
You
for
don't
real?
have a case. Listen, you're the Pokemon CEO. We understand. You don't have a case right now. I'm trying to help you out.
I understand. Okay,
You're my client.
maybe you're right.
Like, you don't have a case with.
Is that not even?
He's not responding.
Somebody texted me. Hold on.
Man, who are you texting, man? I'm paying for this song.
No, it's my other client. Chill, bro.
Can he not wait?
You couldn't have changed Eevee just a little more. He
not
texted
Eevee?
them.
That's Crimus.
Crimus. How much time have you spent on this game?
I had to do what I
How
had to do.
much time do you know every Pokemon
Listen,
name?
I had to do what I had to do.
How much time did you spend on
that?
this?
I had a case for you. I was looking. I was
much?
playing the game to see how much.
How much time did you spend?
40, man.
What?
40.
40 hours. This game hasn't even been out a week yet.
I'm going about fast when you playing it.
I see what's going on.
What's going on?
You protecting him.
I'm your lawyer.
You're a fan of this game.
I'm
good.
not, man. Fuck Palworld. You pay me. I play Pokemon Yellow, Blue, Red.
Get up. Get up.
I was trying to build a case for you. So I got on Palworld thinking about Pokemon. I had to get detail after detail. Hour after hour,
Slaving away. Yeah, right. Darziak says it's funny. There's all this Palworld copying Pokemon stuff, but I saw a picture with Pokemon copying Dragon Quest. I mean, in truth, let's be honest, a lot of huge franchises have copied other things of the past, but I do believe that Palworld may be, at least in recent memory, the most blatant photocopying of something and carrying it right over with very minimal changes and tweaks and saying, oh, it's ours, when in reality you could tell they really just copied every Pokemon. I mean, literally every Palworld creature is a Pokemon, right? There's nothing in there that they even created original. They're all Pokemon just tweaked a little bit. So, okay.
Sorry, Uncle.
Go where?
Serangoon Gardens, please.
I can't understand what you're saying. What is this? Chinese
Sorry.
New Year with KFC.
Can we go to Kallang first to pick my husband up?
Is this a Chinese commercial? Oh no, it's a Singaporean commercial for KFC. Okay. Whoa, oh my God! Almost got to a horrible accident getting KFC.
Can we open the door?
That would have been a shame, because if they got into a horrible car accident, the shame wouldn't have been that they would have been, you know, maybe possibly injured, dismembered, or wrecked their car and financially destitute. The problem would have been they wouldn't have had that delicious, fresh, steaming hot KFC to shove into their mouth. So he's a taxi driver who taxied them to KFC.
Uncle, 祝你甜甜蜜蜜.
So the kid gave him KFC to eat with his family. That's supposed to be like the moral of the story is that he's being nice. Share the sweetness this Chinese New Year. Honey sesame chicken they have at Singaporean KFC. There you go. How nice. Be sure to give it away to everyone for free.
Hey guys, I'm Tom the Tech Chap, and I've been living with this, the Meta Quest 3 for, well, the best part of a month now. And
Okay, Meta Quest 3 is relatively new, according to this. It's only about 3 months old. Okay.
to share some sort of longer term impressions.
Hey, look,
now.
this one we can actually watch because unlike the Apple promo video we watched for the Apple Vision Pro, this isn't officially from Apple or from Meta. So we can watch this because it's a real review. Just so you guys know, was it last week? It was either last week or the week before we watched that Apple Vision Pro video. Completely copywritten stricken. I had to take it out of the video because they blocked my video worldwide. So I'm not allowed to watch and criticize Apple, apparently. That's not allowed on YouTube because they're a megalocorp. They can get away with whatever they want. And even though it's completely legal for me to criticize that video, they didn't allow it and they removed my video. So I had to edit the video up to get it out so I could put it back up. Really messed up. All right, let's learn about Meta Quest 3. I know nothing about this Meta Quest
There's been a couple more games released. There's been a few more updates. I've been having a great time with this thing, which makes its flaws just even more frustrating. So here's the good, the bad, and everything else you need to know before you consider buying a Quest 3.
Boy, this looks stupid.
I will also put a link to this in the description below, and if you do find this video helpful, then a cheeky little like and subscribe would be lovely. Okay, let's start with some positive vibes. And after a few weeks with this guy, it's obvious the Quest 3 is the best all-round VR and MR headset for the money. If you already have a Quest 1 or 2, then this is mostly a big upgrade. And if you want an excuse to jump back into VR or try out MR, mixed reality, or just want a pretty good value PC VR headset that's also great for standalone apps and games.
What gets me about this is, so Meta Quest has been out for how many years? A few years? And this is part 3? So it's like, I understand they want to keep improving the tech. I get that. But how many of these do they expect you to fucking buy? Like, this is the 3rd one in just a few years, correct? So it's like, you really want me to buy a new one every year? Aren't they expensive? Aren't they a few $100s? Imagine if you had to buy a new console every year, right? Like, what is that? That's a fucking ripoff. You know what I say? Don't release it then. Develop it for 5 years and come out with a superior product and sell it once. Don't sell a new version every year annually. Right? Like, that's pretty ridiculous that they're on Model 3 already in just a few years.
Then nothing beats this, flaws and all. Pop it onto your head, and immediately you'll see the higher res screens and the clearer pancake lenses make everything so much sharper than the Quest 2, even in games that haven't had a Quest 3 upgrade. That is very impressive. And in fact, things are so clear now that
the Quest 2 is 4 years old, and how old was the original? I'm just curious. I've heard of the Meta Quest for many, many years, but I believe it came out after the PSVR 2. Is that correct? Like, it was meant to be a competitor for PSVR 2, I think. Because at the time, that other one was the big one. The DTC something or something was the PC competitor to PSVR 2. I mean, this is age. I mean, excuse me. The PSVR. I did not mean to say PSVR 2. I meant to say PSVR. I don't remember MetaQuest being a big thing back then.
Actually, low-res textures and blocky geometry in games are actually more obvious. It's also much easier to stay in the focus sweet spot, meaning there's less eye strain, and the larger 110-degree field of view, up from 97 last year, means better immersion.
Oculus Quest was the other one.
Vision. Plus,
Oculus Rift, that's what the other one was. Oculus Rift, that's what it was called. Okay.
2.5 times more graphics power on tap thanks to the latest Qualcomm Snapdragon chip, and also setting up your play area with the new depth sensor is much quicker. Mixed reality games look great with the new color pass-through, the controllers are smaller and lighter and now get some great haptic feedback, and just the whole interface is nice and slick and easy to use. And as the ecosystem has matured, we now have a pretty decent library of apps and games which are genuinely fun and less tech demo-y than they used to be. So that all sounds great. What's the problem? Well, there's a couple of things which I'll come to, but the first one, the main one, I guess, is the price. The Quest 3's had a pretty serious price hike over the Quest 2.
Really?
And also, to get the best experience out of this, you need to buy some add-ons, which is going to just add to the cost as well. And so it's become less of a fun impulse buy.
I thought the Quest was cheap. I seriously thought that the Meta Quest was the cheaper option. That's the one everyone was pushing people towards for cheaper. It's $500 or $650. Oh my God. Things never change with this stuff. Seriously. The same problem with fucking PSVR. It was like $400, $500 at launch. It's too expensive. The MetaQuest 2 right now is $250. Was it $250 when it launched? Or did it drop in price over 4 years? That is way too fucking expensive. They're out of their minds.
Perhaps you could get away with the Quest 2 or the Quest 1. Now you really have to think, do I need this? Am I going to spend the same amount of money as a PS5 on a Quest 3? But I'll come back to all that. Sticking with the positive stuff, and the second reason to buy one of these is because it's just so versatile. Now, standalone VR and to some extent MR gaming is still like the bread and butter of the Quest 3, but the extra clarity, the better graphics performance, and that significantly improved pass-through actually makes it a pretty compelling, dedicated PC VR headset, whether it's wired or wireless. I've been having a great time replaying Half-Life Alyx, and the virtual desktop is a great way of working or playing PC games on a big screen, and of course watching movies on this virtual big screen is a fantastic experience. VR workout games are great and actually make exercising more fun. And I could maybe see myself using this while traveling, but it's the MR, the mixed reality experiences that are...
That is complete bullshit. You're not going to travel with this thing. It's too big, and if you put this in your luggage and it gets destroyed, that's fucking $600 you just threw away. No one's traveling with the MetaQuest because it's too expensive.
Genuinely new here, and also, on the whole, very impressive. And this is thanks to the Quest 3's new color pass-through cameras that just make all the difference. Although they're not perfect, sometimes you do get some weird distortion, and things do get much grainier in low light. You can play virtual board games, you can fight aliens or somewhat unconvincing zombies that actually break into your room, or even learn piano, although sadly not at the same time. And just being able to move around these virtual objects in your room is really immersive. You can watch stuff in the headset while maybe doing housework, and the new depth sensor is also key here as it keeps track of the headset's position so virtual objects stay in the same place. Because you can use this as a massive virtual monitor at your desk, or anywhere really. You can use hand tracking, the controllers, or a physical mouse and keyboard, and I like the fact you can keep a separate browser window open in the Quest home screen.
Does anyone, can I ask anyone in the chat, does anyone own one of these headsets and actually use it for this stuff? Gaming I can understand, okay? This, like, oh, I like my desktop. I have like a window here and a window here and a window here, and I walk around the house doing housework with my desktop in my face. Does anyone do that? Because I feel like you would definitely do gaming on it. I don't know who does that. What is wrong with just sitting at your PC? There was a problem with that? Lady Charisma says I edit videos using mine. Oh, that's interesting. Are you able to, like, so if you're editing a video, can you look at the source video here and the editing window here? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that the advantage of it? Because, like, for me, I have a dual monitor setup on my PC. Even when I used to edit videos, that was more than enough. Like, I always had space. I didn't have any problems. I literally haven't heard a single person on planet Earth say, if only I had a headset I could put on and have unlimited desktop space up in my face, and I could walk around the house doing the computer stuff while doing other things. Like, I haven't heard the need for this, you know? They're all pushing it. They're like, look what you can do. That's great, you can do it, but who asked for it? And that's what kind of gets me is, I almost have to say, with all VR or these what do they call them, AR headsets, it's nice it exists. It's cool that they're advancing it, but I'm still wondering where the demand is. Like, who is asking for me to have this ability to do it? I'm just lost, you know? Lady Christmas says, I can see more of a timeline wearing the headset at once. Okay. Just gaming for me, says Darziak. By the way, thank you. Nathan Smith has gifted a membership, and it went to Garbage Gamer. Congrats, Garbage Gamer, on the gifted membership. Be sure to thank Nathan Smith for that. Cool. Okay. And he did. Awesome. I don't know, like, for me, again, I'm not hating on this thing. I'm just saying, like, every time they look at the games, like, okay, the games look all right. And then they show that, and it's like, why the fuck do I want a giant desktop on my face? I don't get it.
I have to wonder how many convincing, high-quality MR experiences are we going to get, considering only the just launched Quest 3 has this full color pass-through. You know, it's a very small market that will actually own one of these for developers to get on board and create applications and games for. Perhaps as the Apple Vision Pro comes out early next year, that we will see more developers jump on board and create these really convincing MR experiences. But for now, there just isn't a whole lot to really sink your teeth into. But let's talk about the graphics, because together with the new cameras and sensors, inside we have the Qualcomm Snapdragon XR2 Gen 2 chip, which provides that 2.5 times boost in graphics performance over the Quest 2. But the thing is, only a handful of games have actually taken advantage of the extra power so far, ranging from a basic resolution and frame rate bump up to 90 or the experimental 120 Hz, which still makes a massive difference, all the way up to a full graphics overhaul like we get in Red Matter 2. And together with the clearer optics, the high-resolution textures, and the better lighting and effects, it all adds up to make a big visual difference to the games. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming out. So while I've been trying out plenty of the updated titles and there are more incoming, it's still hard to say just how many games will take full advantage of that extra power. Dungeons of Eternity's Quest 3 Enhanced Graphics mode does look better and has nicer lighting, but it's not exactly night and day.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners graphics update, as right now the clearer image on the Quest 3 makes it look pretty bad. Next up, games. And this is going to be the main reason, for me at least, that unlike most VR headsets that just start gathering dust after a couple of weeks and sit in my drawer, that's going to make me keep coming back to this. And so far, while it's only been a month, I've actually played this most days. It's so bizarre that we've got a 7th guest game. I remember when I played the original a million years ago, it scared the hell out of me.
A 7th guest
and now I'm in
VR
it,
game.
which is even scarier. Definitely quite immersive, even if it's not like the highest quality. I just forget that I can move around, crouch, look around.
That's interesting because I never played 7th Guest in VR. It might be pretty neat
compared to most other headsets. And I've been loving hand-to-hand combat in Blade and Sorcery Nomad, and also the co-op in Dungeons of Eternity.
Now, did he not say you have to buy a bunch of extra shit to get it to work? And that's the problem. You have to probably have to buy the controllers, I bet. How much you want to bet you have to buy controllers, right?
Be like a step down even over the Quest 2. I'm getting between an hour and an hour and a half in mixed reality, and at best maybe 2.5 hours in less demanding apps and games. It really doesn't last very long, which actually isn't the end of the world deal breaker you may think it is, because to be honest, I mostly use this for like half an hour, 45 minutes, as I say, these sort of quick short bursts, because at that point I'm starting to feel maybe a little bit nauseous.
So you heard what he said. The battery life is terrible. In the mixed reality games, it's only 90 minutes. Other games, it's only 2.5 hours. And if he plays for 45 minutes, he feels nauseous. So they haven't fixed it. All these things are the same. You end up feeling nauseous, and they're not. Wow. You're going to pay $600 for something you can only play for 45 minutes. And if you want to play longer, the battery dies in like 2 hours anyway. Dude, I don't know, man. You know, I don't know, man. These things... They have battery packs and better strap. Oh, so you could buy a battery pack or a better strap, and then it costs a lot more, but then it solves those problems. I kind of want to watch one more video to end the week.
Thank God my mom didn't raise a camera.
What? I couldn't even hear what he said.
After seeing this dude on TikTok completely miss the point of CCR's Fortunate Son and then getting a recommendation for this kind of topic, today we're going to talk about songs that are misunderstood. Whether people think they mean one thing but they really mean another, or they don't feel like there's anything to analyze at all but there is some hidden message in there, I'm going to go through and list a bunch of the most significant examples in music history.
Last video
starting off with Fortunate Son by
CCR,
CCR, Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen, This Land Is Your Land by Woody Guthrie, and any of these tracks that people somehow think are patriotic celebrations of the United States. I hate to break it to you, but they're not. Fortunate Son is a protest song rejecting the Vietnam War, and specifically, it's about how young, helpless Americans get thrown into senseless wars by those in power. Born in the USA is about the struggles of a working-class Vietnam veteran after they return home. This thing is oozing with sarcastic patriotism that tens of millions of people across the country definitely don't comprehend. Woody Guthrie wrote This Land Is Your Land in 1940 after hearing God Bless America on the radio over and over again. He wanted to critique private property and economic disparity in the US, and that is very clear in his original lyrics, but he took out a couple of the harder-hitting verses because he was scared that Joseph McCarthy would persecute him for being a communist. You can still see Guthrie's politics in the version that got recorded, and this is basically used as a backup for the national anthem, and that is tragically ironic.
This land was made for you and me.
Speaking of communism, we can talk about...
Well, yeah, exactly right. The song is supposed to basically be saying that it's supposed to be everyone's land. All of us should own the country, not the government. It's actually an anti-government song, and people think that it's a patriotic song that's pro-government.
Arguably the most famous song ever made, John Lennon's Imagine. While it comes off as a sweet track about generally spreading the love, that's exactly what Lennon wanted people to think.
Yep.
He was quoted as saying Imagine is virtually the Communist Manifesto, but he sugarcoated everything because he knew that's how his message would get out to as many people as possible. Instead of being super direct and scaring the public with leftist ideas, he made something more palatable and hoped the seeds that he dropped would blossom through the masses. Closing Time by Semisonic is...
Just listen to the real lyrics of the song. Right? He's basically saying, imagine there's no religion or anything, right? Because no religion, no government, nothing, nothing, it's a really interesting song when you listen to the lyrics. And then people think, oh, it's just like a happy song. It's actually not at all. It's not at all. He's right. It's a very leftist, communist kind of a song, honestly.
One of my favorite examples of a song being misunderstood. You've heard it time and time again, and you're saying to me, okay, this has to be about getting kicked out of the bar when it's late at night, right? Nope. It's about the birth of the lead singer's child. Time for you to go out to the places you will be from. Could have meant anything about living life to the fullest, but I bet this room won't be open till your brothers or your sisters come makes a lot more sense in this context. This room, more like this womb. This one's weird. The fake story of In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins being about a guy who could have saved that other guy from drowning but didn't was made famous by Eminem's Stan, but that's not what the song was about. As Phil explained to Jimmy Fallon in a 2016 interview, this incredibly famous song was an improvised rant about his divorce.
Whoa.
Phil was in an emotional place, very clearly bitter, and he made up most of the lyrics off the top of his head during a studio session.
Wow.
Total Eclipse of the Heart by Bonnie Tyler might seem like the average song about love and love lost, but boy is that not the case. Songwriter Jim Steinman wrote this track for Nosferatu the musical, and yes, it's a love song about vampires.
What?
This was the original title, and once you remember that most of the lyrics describe shadows, darkness, and immortality, now you know why.
Wow.
While Royals by Lord sounds
No, I did not know that song was about vampires. That one blows my mind. I've heard that song a zillion times. I had no clue. Wow.
It's about materialism, and that
I
is
never
the
heard
true
this
meaning
one.
behind the song. There's a story behind the title that I doubt many people know. She was flipping through an old National Geographic magazine from the 70s, saw this picture of Kansas City Royals icon George Brett being swarmed by fans, and she liked the word on his jersey. In the end, the photo does play with the idea of status, and you can certainly tie that into the
never
lyrics
heard
of
this
the
song.
song.
More
But
modern,
really,
that's why.
Lord just saw the word Royals and wanted to throw it into the track that she was writing. Who Let the Dogs Out by Baha Men is another one of my personal favorite stories. I'm guessing most of you haven't even given this one a thought.
Nope.
And if you were going to tell me what it's about, you'd say, somebody let the dogs out. But this is actually a feminist protest song that is denouncing catcalling.
Oh.
Seriously. Well, the party was nice, the party was pumping, and everybody having a ball, until the fellas started name-calling, and the girls respond to the call. I heard a woman shout, Good Riddance Time of Your Life by Green Day is basically known as the music that plays during your high school graduation, and I think that context has morphed everybody's idea of what the song is actually about. The tone of the track is pretty hopeful and uplifting. You combine that with the graduation setting, and everybody thinks it's about transitioning from one place to another and living life. And while that analysis isn't bad, this is a breakup song through and through. Billy Joe tried being as level-headed as possible, so most of of the lyrics stay true to that, but I hope you had the time of your life is 100% sarcastic, and if you don't believe me, look at
It got muted. It got
Summer of
muted.
69 by Bryan Adams.
I don't know what he said. The video got muted on YouTube for some fucking reason. So I have no idea what he was saying. But yeah, the actual name of the song is Good Riddance Time of Your Life, which means that's why he's saying goodbye to his ex-girlfriend. Right, that makes sense. I don't know what he said, though, because they fucking muted it. Anyway.
Is not about the year. That's all I need to say about that one. With Macarena...
The summer of 69... He's talking about the best days of his life. I wonder... Oh, get it? The summer of 69? Get it? Now I get it.
By Los Del Rio
Wow.
and Gangnam Style by Psy, both being songs with dances attached to them, and the lyrics are not in English, it's fair to say that most people, at least most Americans, have no idea what they're dancing to.
Yes.
Macarena is about a woman named Macarena who cheats on her boyfriend with 2 of his friends while he's getting deployed into the military. I'm dead
How
serious,
nice.
that is not a joke. Every Breath You Take by The Police is one of the more baffling examples here. People seriously dance to this song at their weddings thinking it's a romantic love
It's
song,
not.
and it is so blatantly about a creepy
it is.
stalker. Sting wrote this shortly after his divorce, and with the line, "I'll be watching you" spoken 14 times, I really don't know how people mess this one up. You're Beautiful by James Blunt is the same sort of thing. Couples fawning over this soft, touching track, but it was inspired by a breakup, and the subject matter is frightening, not cute. You really have to wonder how many couples out there had stalker anthems playing at their wedding receptions.
Morons.
Third Eye Blind's Semi-Charmed Life is a classic instance
For me, this song is the example of a song that no one ever listened to the lyrics. This is the most fucked up song. It's about people being high as shit and having, having sex and relationships, and then basically like wanting to kill themselves because they're all fucked up on drugs. But the song is such an upbeat song. Everyone thinks it's like a high-end happy song. The lyrics are awful in this song.
that thing where the track is catchy and fast-paced, so you just assume that everything's happy underneath, but again, if you take one look at the lyrics without the music playing, you're gonna be shocked. There aren't even hidden references here that could have multiple meanings. This is a very direct, raunchy song about a couple that becomes addicted to crystal meth. Forever Young by Alphaville is some signature 80s synth pop, and this was a classic prom song back in the day. After it was sampled by Jay-Z and Mr. Hudson and Young Forever, the track had a whole new generation of kids thinking it was about youth and coming of age, but isn't it funny how we've all sung the lyrics, "Are you gonna drop the bomb or not?" and it still wasn't abundantly clear that it was about the fear of nuclear war. Blackbird by the Beatles is one where
Forever Young. I know that song. I didn't know that's what it was about.
Everybody knows what the themes are about, but the origin of the song isn't as well known. Lennon and McCartney wrote the song after learning about the Little Rock Nine, the group of African-American students who challenged racial segregation in the public schools of Little Rock, Arkansas. The track's messages of being broken down and tired but still fighting on and trying to break through to something more have always been universal, but it's so inspiring knowing that the origin of this beautiful song is regarding the civil rights movement.
Wow.
You were only waiting for this moment.
I did not know that either.
I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston is known as one of the most breathtaking love songs ever written, but it was originally by Dolly Parton.
Yes, it was.
And it wasn't a romantic love song at all. Dolly's first big break was working on the Porter Wagoner show alongside the titular Porter Wagoner. He was her mentor, and they were business partners for 7 years. When it was clear that Dolly should move on to bigger and better things, she wanted to write Porter a song to show how much she appreciated all that he's done for her. She sat him down, sang him this farewell song, and went on to become one of the biggest superstars the world has ever seen. To close out this video, I just want to list a few more prime examples of irony because spreading these stories was my goal with all of this song, explicitly making fun of something, but then that song ends up becoming the anthem for that very thing.
Because people
Swimming Pools
misunderstood
by
it.
Kendrick Lamar is about alcoholism, and people turned it into a song to drink to.
Wow.
Fight for Your Right by Beastie Boys was a satire of party anthems, and it became one of the biggest frat boy party anthems of all time.
Yep.
Song 2 by Blur was a parody of American grunge music, but it became the band's only big hit in the US.
Yeah. Yeah, Blur, I think all their other music didn't sound like that song. They wanted to make a song that sounded like American grunge music, and then that became their hit, and all their other music failed. Pretty fucked up.
And I've made a whole video on this one, but similarly, Hook by Blues Traveler was about how lyrics don't matter and people will eat anything up as long as there's a catchy hook.
He's right.
That song had a catchy hook to test the theory, and it was the band's biggest hit.
Yep.
In the end,
Blues Traveler is amazing. If you guys have never heard Blues Traveler, that is a hybrid band that it is blues, but it sounds like pop music, and their lyrics are outstanding. Like, some of the subject matter of their song, it's amazing. It's like, wow, they're saying so much in this song, but you would never know it because the music is good and catchy. But then when you listen to the music, the lyrics, you're like, whoa, they're actually telling a story or they're making a point. Blues Traveler, amazing. I own 2 of their albums. I loved that band in the 90s. Seriously.
When it comes to Baha Men and their feminist anthem, or a laundry list of songs being celebrated by the exact people who are being made fun of in the song.
That's great.
I just think it's interesting that within music, there's always more than meets the eye.
That was a great video. Whoever submitted that one, super kudos. I really like that video. That's actually my favorite video of the week for sure. I loved that one. All right. Everyone, thank you so very much. I hope you've enjoyed episode 50 of DSP versus the Internet. What a ride it's been in this last year, right? Watching all this kind of stuff, reacting to it, being exposed to so much stuff that I never even knew existed, learning, laughing, and having a good time with all of you. It's been a great year on DSP Reacts. I can't wait for another one because now we start over, right? Next week, it's the next 50, right? Pretty awesome. So, again, thank you. And to those who are members of this channel, you are really the ones who make it possible. I want you to understand that. The vast majority of any kind of revenue I get on this channel is memberships. So thank you to those who are members on the channel, particularly the Ultra members, Super members, and Submission level members, for all of your support here. I really, 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 really appreciate it. And by the way, Lady Charisma just said, well, you know, I've been sending that video in for weeks. Thank you for being persevering with it. Because as you know, there's a lot of people vying for the real estate here on the show. And because you stuck with it, we got to watch it, and I loved it. All right? All right, guys, thank you so very much. I'll see you next week for another one. And by the way, in the meantime, there will be some extra content on this channel next weekend as well. Probably some food vlogging. All right? Thank you, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.